honest, they were much better than us in all the aspects. There is nothing that we can take from this game. Probably the only thing we can do is just to review the game, analyze what we did bad, and what do we need to improve.
Why were they better than you in every aspect, Enzo? Because in terms of quality, they would admit this, Chelsea have more than Leeds.
But you don't win games just with the quality. You need more things. And today they were better than us. Again, this is Premier League. No matter if you are at home, away, against which team, you have always to perform in the right way. Otherwise, you struggle. And tonight's performance was not our standard.
I'm not married to base formations. I'm addicted to principles, and I like once you dominate a league and you are a side who fights for the title to stick a bit more to one base formation, because the players need a bit more safety, especially because you have to rotate perhaps even a bit more, especially once you play in Europe. But if you're a promoted side, you have to adapt a bit to the reality, and the reality is that probably it's fair to say that we are not the side with the highest individual quality, and for that you have to adapt.
What a great result for Leeds. What a great night as well for Daniel Farke. There's been so much speculation about his job. How much... there you go. How much did he need this, Jamie?
Oh, it's absolutely huge for him, because the connection with the fans, you need these what I call blue chip wins, because straight away, look, the fans are with him. They've got Liverpool there the weekend. Can they do something again? He's fallen on a system that really works for them. They were direct today. They were very aggressive. I do think he'd have probably looked at that Chelsea side that Maresca picked to think, and thought to himself, I've got a real chance here tonight.
Did you think that as well?
I thought, I said it at the start. I just felt it was a bit too open. And not only that, really top quality players. You know, I'm a big Esteval's going to be a superstar, and Gitson's in the wide areas, and then he played with João Pedro as a pretty much a 10 behind Delap and Santos and Fernandes in midfield. And I just felt for Santos today that was going to be a big ask. You know, when they haven't got Caicedo, who's the legs, the energy, and the heartbeat of that team, they certainly miss him. But the weekend we saw Reece James come to the front, and he was magnificent in there. But obviously you can't keep playing him because of his body, just in case it breaks down. But I thought he left. I looked at his subs, and I also thought, what else could he have done? It was a very wide open team that was
he's trying to protect a couple of players
and it
from
wasn't
injury as
powerful
well.
enough. And then obviously individual mistakes. I think it was Tosin, the one that gives it away. But that will hurt them, because it felt like for Chelsea, there were people talking about maybe being in a title race, 2 steps forward, and they get chin tonight, and it will really hurt. But I just felt it maybe a little bit self-inflicted. They were too wide open, and sometimes you go away to places, then maybe it might be a Neto come on at half time. I think for Esteval, where you just change it, and do you need that experience to go up? You know what it's like going to Elland Road? It's horrible. You know, it's really difficult to go there.
Does it feel like a bit of a step back after what we've seen from Chelsea in recent weeks?
I don't think the project is. It's not a step back in the project. No. It's a step back in tonight's performance. But Caicedo and James are their most trusted defensive midfielders, and not having them in there, to me, when I saw the midfield, I thought this is too attacking. They look like they're too explorative versus being sort of in their positions, and that's what you get with Caicedo and James. You get that solidity there. So for me, I was a bit concerned with that, and I think, again, when you are going against a team away who are fighting for their lives, you know it's going to be a tough game. The fans are up, they're firing. You've got the players who know what's at stake, and they probably sense an opportunity. And that's when you do need experienced players, whereas maybe Santos can develop into a top player, but you kind of sometimes need that older general who can come in and shore things up and keep the players a little bit more relaxed and talk and all of that. And they missed that tonight.
But they don't have that, do they? Really?
They don't have it, but they need that. In moments like this, in terms of where the process is going, trust the process, of course. Trust the process. But you need those figures. In every dressing room I've been in, you've always had 1 or 2 older players at every football club I've been at. So you need that. As younger players, you need to look to an older guy. They had a Thiago Silva in the past who was there, and he's that older general you can lean on and go, what do you think? And I think now they're lacking that. The squad overall, beautiful for the future. Love to see it. Can't wait to see how they evolve. But when you lose a Reece James, you lose a Caicedo in there, you need that older head to come in, I think.
So all in all, very good night for Arsenal.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, yeah, apart from last night with Manchester City winning, which I can't see anything apart from those 2 teams, if I'm honest. Man City are going to be the ones that can maybe run Arsenal close, but that was a big win for them today.
Yeah, with Liverpool dropping points.
Next up for Liverpool, it is a trip to Elland Road to face Leeds. That's exactly what Chelsea had this evening. Leeds had lost 4 in a row going into this one. Chelsea, of course, with 10 men holding Arsenal. But, Michael, what a night Leeds had and what a start they had.
Absolutely. I mean, set piece, that's a very difficult one to defend. It gets whipped in at the near post, lovely time drawn. And then what a finish this is as well, to go 2-0 up. And at this point, you're thinking, Wow, I mean, what have Chelsea got? Now, what they did have is a goal soon after half-time. Well worked. Substitute Neto coming in on the back post. And at this point, Manu, you think, right, they're back in the game. They're going to go on to grab something.
What about this, Manu? The way they conceded this, Chelsea?
Well, this one is a joke, honestly. That cannot happen, at this level. When you play for Chelsea, that's not possible, especially when you score a goal and you come back into the game and then you offer the game to Leeds when you do that. These kind of mistakes, it's very hard to watch it.
Yeah, overplaying, poor touch, pressure from Leeds. Credit to them, they had 4 or 5 players in an aggressive press, but Chelsea were on the ascendancy, getting back into the game, and then just to give it away like that stops all your momentum. And and that's a great result for Leeds because they were on a bad run before today.
They were. Now, Daniel Farke afterwards stood on the pitch on his own for a long time, just taking it all in away from his players and then celebrating supporters.
Yeah. Well, there were rumours before today, Steve, that his job might be under a little bit of pressure, and that if they had lost today, then who knows, I'm not sure. But after that result, then all of a sudden things are looking up, and now they've got Liverpool next, and the way they're playing at the moment, then they could get points against Liverpool.
OK, well, let's hear from the winning manager, the Leeds one, Daniel Farke.
I know you won't want to make it about yourself, but you talked about the outside world panicking. The outside world probably has been panicking a little bit. There has been scrutiny on your position. You know that better than anyone. But does tonight show, Daniel, that you are getting the absolute best out of this team, the best out of these players?
No, that's not the topic for me. I'm just concentrated on helping my lads and trying out of this bunch of really, really good characters and guys who chip in with all their heart and all their workload and all the skills that they have to get the best out of them and to make sure that we're competitive on Premier League level. We know it's challenging for each every promoted side. The last years have shown this. We had our challenges also in the summer transfer window. We had to work out of PSR reasons with limited resources, and also challenging end of the window. And then it's more like you have to stick even more together and to show steel and resilience and just to work even harder. And this is what we're doing, and we're fully convinced of our way. And I like to fulfill my jobs anyhow, and for that I'm pretty sure that we will do this as well and make sure that we reach our goal, and the goal is survival.
Well, the goal is to survive. He's very emotional there, man.
Yeah.
He's put a few reasons and effective.
I know it's very difficult to be a manager nowadays. They are such under pressure. And when you win, it's because of your players, and when you lose, it's because of you. So I suppose that sometimes it's very hard, to cope with that kind of pressure. You don't understand. Sometimes the pressure we receive from the medias, from the fans, and it's getting very emotional. But I think this victory tonight will bring him happiness, and he will sleep well tonight.
Sunderland are probably not helping Leeds at the moment.
Yeah.
They're doing so well. But if you look at Leeds in isolation, when everybody thinks that the 3 that come up will go back down, they're not even in the bottom 3. Yet he's under pressure. He's actually doing, if the season finished today, he'd be an absolute hero. So it just shows you it's a strange old world management. That's why we're sat here, right?
It's more easy for us.
Exactly.
Yeah, Leeds out of the bottom 3. West Ham have slipped into the drop zone before they go to Old Trafford on Thursday. Right, 5th against 4th at the Amex. Aston Villa, what a night they've had, what a run they're on, and that's come from 2 down.
Wow, yeah, what a mess the first goal was. To be fair, it shouldn't have been a corner, but once it was given, then a big mistake from goalkeeper, a bit of a mess, and Verbruggen obviously made it 1-0. This was a really good build-up play from Brighton. You could say deserved the goal, even though it was a bit fortuitous at the end to make it 2-0. But just when you think Brighton are in total control, Ollie Watkins stepped up and bagged the brace before half-time.
Honestly, this game for me is the best example so far of the Aston Villa season. They come from nowhere. They show resilience, composure, a great mental strength. All together unity, and they come back into the game. They believe in themselves. They keep focus. Look at that. I like it. I love it. He's so passionate, this guy. I had the chance to talk to him, for a couple of times, and honestly, I think he's a brilliant manager, and I think they deserve exactly what happened tonight, because it's not easy to get the 3 points away at Brighton. The way they did it, honestly, I don't see many teams, many players, coming back from nowhere and scoring 4 goals away from home. And if I am Brighton players tonight, I would be very disappointing because scoring 3 goals at home, not getting a point, must be very, very, very frustrated.
Well, Bizzard, of course, had to come in the warm-up for Emi Martinez. What a save late on this was, Michael.
This is incredible. Incredible save. I mean, he made a mistake for the first goal, but that was a great save. Great reaction save. It looked offside to the naked eye, but it wasn't. And, he's eventually saved his team in another sort of epic encounter. We've had a couple of them the last 2.
What a run they're on. I mean, they're into the top 3. They've won 8 of their last 9 games.
Amazing.
That's more than any team in that period in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, they've emerged, haven't they, in the last year or two as a serious, not a title-chasing team, like, but a serious Champions League qualifying team, a top 4 team. And the way they're going at the moment, Liverpool are faltering, Chelsea are faltering today. Obviously, Manchester City kept up the pace, but it's Aston Villa that are almost the dark horses coming out the pack to chase down Arsenal.
Yeah, and their character is shown by the fact they have 12 points from losing positions, more than any other team in the Premier League so far this season. Right, Turf Moor, Burnley in the bottom 3. Palace looking to get back to winning ways, which they did narrowly this evening.
Seems to be the end of the world for Wolves.
Burnley,
for Burnley, Burnley. But it's going to be very difficult for them, to keep their position in the Premier League because as a promoted team, I have the feeling that it's getting really, really hard, to do the lift every single season, coming back to the Premier League, then going to the Championship, coming back again. I mean, losing against Crystal Palace on 1-0, and it's hard to live with that.
Big save for Dean Henderson, 5 defeats in a row for Burnley now. Another defeat for Wolves. I mean, Jesus got his goal. That was the one correctly ruled out in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. Standing bang in front of the goalkeeper. Yeah. He had in an offside position. It took VAR a long while, but at least they got the right decision in the end. But Forest weren't to be denied. And if you're a goalkeeper coming for that, then you've got to take the lot. Otherwise, stay on your line and you'd probably catch that one. Another disappointing result for Wolves.
Yeah, big 3 points to Nottingham Forest, and Sean Dyche are up to 15. And as I say, as you can see, West Ham are suddenly 3 points from safety before they head to Old Trafford tomorrow. Leeds out of the bottom zone, and there's a 4-point gap now for Forest at the bottom.
Yeah, obviously it looks horrific for Wolves. It's looking a little bit bleak for Burnley. And then you're thinking maybe one of the rest, but the rest includes some really good teams. So, a West Ham, a Leeds, I can't really see anybody else going down. I think it might be, listen, early on in the season, but, the likes of Nottingham Forest are on a great run. Fulham are a good team. Bournemouth are a very good team. Brentford are in a good run. So Newcastle, Tottenham are certainly not going to be going down. So, yeah, I think Burnley, Wolves and one of Leeds or West Ham.
Let's finish at the other end, though. I mean, 5 points clear, 14 games in. What a situation for your former club, Arsenal.
Yeah, but being first at the table actually in December is very nice, honestly. I'm very happy. But I would prefer that. Are
they better coped now to deal with being shot at and the pressure even at this stage of the season?
I think they've learned lessons, from the last couple of years, They, I remember some games, they lost under pressure, but they lost as well important players at a crucial moment in the second part of the season. So now, even with some injured players, I think they've learned. They become more mature and they grow up, individually, but as well collectively. So I'm pretty sure that in terms of confidence, it's not the same team anymore.
Brilliant, Manu. Great to see you as always. Watching Arsenal win and Michael watching Liverpool drop points. Villa bang in form, 8 in 9, and they play Arsenal next on Saturday. And the 3 of us, take care. We'll see you soon.
Close to that big result. What does it mean to get it over the line tonight?
Yes, long time coming, I would say, after many good results, good performances, but we were not able to translate this also into results. Great shift from the lads today, and they were on it from the first to the last second. I think in the end, of course, a game where Chelsea had more possession, but in the end, I would say also the well-deserved win with many chances, many shots on target, many expected goals.
African players, because of the African Cup of Nations, for Sunderland, it was an opportunity to actually get players that might ordinarily not have been able to. And yeah, it's absolutely working for them so far. And they had to do something because they finished 24 points adrift of Burnley and Leeds United last season. Leeds, who got 100 points last season, but they've struggled at the start of this Premier League season. But how about this? That's one of their summer recruits, Biol, heading them in front against Chelsea. Tanaka, who was so impressive in the Championship last season. What a strike from him to make it 2-0. Pedro Neto on the back post here to make it 2-1. and you did wonder if Leeds were creaking at this point, but not a bit of it. Okafor goes hunting for the ball higher. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has the easiest job of tapping in. Great result for Leeds United and for Daniel Farke. We can hear from him and Enzo Maresca. Daniel talking to Patrick Davison.
Well, Daniel, you've been so